to see them rise.
And launched in Saskatoon.
I'm literally like head to toe right now.
I don't believe everything happens for a reason, but I believe that good can come out of everything. I'm such a truster of life now. Cheers, cheers.
And the second one was to get the nail report. Here's my biggest cheer. I want you to take this postcard out. Okay.
What am I wearing? But like now looking back. We're here filming a Babeless interview. I'm so honored to be sitting with you today.
Yay.
And I would love for you to introduce yourself and
Yep.
tell us a little bit about yourself.
So my name is Sarah Nicole, aka the Birds Papaya. I have a platform on Instagram and a podcast called the Papaya Podcast. And I very much love to speak into everything from body confidence to like overcoming adversity and kind of like the choices that we make and the narratives that we create that can really be so transformative to our lives and tapping into like the inner power that we maybe didn't always know existed.
Yes. I love to hear how you described what you do, because when I first found you online, I became like, I fell in love with your platform. But when I reached out to you, because obviously I reached out to you to do a collaboration, I didn't really know how to say what you do.
I think like in terms of like describing it, connectivity is a really good word for it, because I'm somebody who went from not really allowing self-thought, very suppressive mind in terms of a lot of things, came through some hardship and really chose to start listening, start like leaning in and listening to into my thoughts, into life, and to start translating that into content. And I did it very therapeutically for myself. And some of it was body stuff, some of it was divorce stuff, some of it was parenting. So when you talk about this whole thing as a whole, I think for me, it's sharing in this human experience that we all have. And I'm so fortunate to have this perspective that life has given me from so many different things. In this human experience of life, we have these thoughts, we have these awarenesses of things, but we're so used to just letting them journey through our brains and like out the other side, or through our hearts and out the other side. But what happens when we actually take a moment to pause and capture them has been truly the thing that has changed who I am as a creator. Because every single day, like I'll wake up and I'll just have a thought. So today, for instance, would be a good thing. I was feeling a lot of guilt over the fact that I was staying in this like luxury suite hotel, and I was like, I'm having this apologetic feeling about being successful or being in a season of a have instead of being a have-not, because I really identified with people being a single mom and having this have-not lifestyle, that now that I'm in a have season, or like instead of the peaks and valleys, I'm now in my peak, it's been an uncomfortable feeling. And then I realized, like, I just literally wrote out from my heart that moment, because I was like, I'm so done with being sorry for being at a peak. I would never expect somebody to stay in a valley and stay there forever. I want to see them rise. And I know people want to see me rise. And I know that I'm not a failure because I'm now a have and no longer a have not. And I just, you pour it out, but I had to do that in that moment when that thought was true, because if I tried later, I wrote it out, because if I try and do it later, then I'm like, what was I thinking again? What was that feeling? I know I had it, so really capturing thought in its true authentic moment.
I'm literally like head to toe right now. I'm like, and that's an edit. I'm like, am I gonna cry? What is gonna happen?
I have two capabilities with people. I either will make you laugh or make you cry. And that's like, it's such a joke when people follow me on Insta, because they're like, my content can be so serious because it's like these tapped in thoughts. And they go and watch my stories and they're like, you are a gong show of a woman. And I was like, but that's like, I'm truly both. Like a lot of things for me, like I really don't want my value to be in any type of success point, because I understand now. We were just talking before we started filming about how like the happiest moments of my life were times that I had literally nothing. And it was just the fact that I was doing something. Had been making a choice that made me feel strong, like stepping into my own power and owning that. That's not changed. I had like a career job and I could have stayed in it. It was in publishing. So I kind of had, after my divorce, I was working as like a bar server, and I went from that and I took on a job at a publishing company and kind of climbed the ranks from being a receptionist all the way to an editor position in a matter of 3 years. And I walked away from that to pursue this, and not knowing what I was ever going to make. I never knew if I would make money or if it would just be, I just wanted the allowance to do more of what I wanted to do. There's somebody out the door. Ooh, yes, honey. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Cheers. Cheers. I'm such a truster of life now, because even the bad stuff that's ever happened to me, like literally every single bad thing that's ever happened to me has somehow taught me something or shown me something or given me perspective. It has always been a gift. And I don't believe, like I say all the time, I don't believe everything happens for a reason, but I believe that good can come out of everything, literally everything.
But that's also a choice, like a life choice.
100%.
Like what kind of life do you want to have? It's like, well, terrible things happen all the time. Like life is hard, things happen, but some people carry them and they're not able to understand the like journey or the story.
My oldest, who's 13, she's probably the one who's come through the most, and she has such an emotional wherewithal now. Like it's so incredible to watch and witness. But when I see her going through stuff, and when I hear women come to me and say like, I'm really going through this right now, I feel almost guilty that I smile a little, because I'm like, you have no idea.
It's so good right now what you're going through.
You have no idea how good this is gonna get and how much this is going to teach you. And you know, I said to my daughter one day, she had a falling out with somebody, and I said, Betty, this is going to stay with you, because that next person that kind of fills that spot, you have no idea what space that other person was taking up. You have no idea how much it means that they've now stepped out of the way. You have no idea who is about to come in, and you have no idea how much you're going to appreciate the difference between. I honestly, I would not appreciate the marriage I have now. I wouldn't appreciate the job, the house, anything that I have. And these are all seem like things and like milestones, but even like straight down to, okay, let's use my body as an example. So I went from 225 pounds to 114 pounds, and now I don't know what I weigh. But I have this beautiful gift of perspective of knowing that 225 pounds I was so unhappy with my body, and 114 pounds I was so unhappy with my body. So isn't it the best thing when you truly get to live in where you are meant to be and have the perspective of both, that I can now teach that? I can say to people, I've been skinnier, didn't actually make me any happier, and I've been bigger and it didn't make me any happier. Like, it's so important for us to listen to what life is teaching us in our every single day and get rid of the distractions that are trying to take us down. My top performing post of all time on Instagram was when I recognized that exact thing. Realizing that everybody that I loved most, if I could name the top 5 things that I loved about them, that their body never landed on the list.
Not even close. Your account is so important because I think that it actually like connects to people and will help them along on their journey. So cheers to you.
Cheers, thank you. One of our biggest discomforts is in being alone and being alone with our thoughts. I think we're so good. We're in this day of society, we have access to everything all the time. And my one friend taught me about this. She was like, I'm like, what are you really geeking out on right now? And she's on my podcast and she was like, honestly, being alone. And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like being alone, like not having a friend with you, not having a drink, not numbing out with a Netflix show,
not having your phone,
being alone.
I actually want to know, I saw that you posted our Babe sweatshirt, so obviously you do connect to it.
I do.
But I want to know what you feel about our definition of a babe.
I can't. Like that like terrified me in that moment, but then I realized like aloneness is what truly does teach you about yourself and teaches and allows you that digestion of the day. One of my friends who's a life coach, she talks about the fact of like unpacking your day and how important that is, because you know, we're so used to numbing out. We do it with alcohol, we do it with Netflix, we do it with friends. I
actually want to know, I saw that you posted our Babe sweatshirt, so obviously you do connect to it.
I do.
But I want to know what you feel about our definition of a babe.
Well, it's funny because I've heard a lot of people talk before about this negative feeling towards being a babe. Like, I don't identify as a babe, but I think a lot of that stems from this like cultural norm of what a babe is and what we were kind of grown up being said, you're such a babe, and it was so identified as how we looked. And now we kind of took it back. We kind of took it back and we changed the narrative. It makes me feel like that girl power thing. It makes me feel like that inner feminist that like, you can't call me a babe. Like before, if somebody, like if a guy said like, you're such a babe, that, not that it would be offensive, but it's not something that I would find too endearing. But when a woman calls me a babe, like you're such a babe, like I feel like it means that bitches got our back. Supporting each other in this like feel good way that feels really, really awesome when we say it. And
I love that. Yes.
Cheers.
What does babe supporting babes mean to you, and how do you use it in your life, or how do you feel you use it in your life?
So one of the key things for me in terms of like babe supporting babes is like, I feel like all of us are at a certain point of our journey or our life or chapters, and we don't always know where that is. And I think a lot of times people forget that when you look at somebody who's potentially in, you know, we were just talking about peaks and valleys, but like if you're at a peak in your life, or you are higher up on this like quote unquote ladder.
Yeah.
I think what people don't see is the woman above them that has held their hand. And the woman above them who has opened that door, and the woman above them that has like pulled them through. And I think for me, a lot of my quote unquote success points have come from the women before me, the ones who have truly said, I'm gonna hold this door for you, and I'm gonna pull you up, and we're gonna climb this ladder together. And that's what kind of reminds me of like the base of wearing babes, is not just like going through doors and like smashing glass ceilings, it's turning around and holding the door open, and what that can mean for our sister who is like still in her valleys, and knowing that like her valleys are teaching her so much, but we are here for her when she hits her peak. Because I think we love an underdog. As society, we love somebody who's in the trenches of life, and we root for them. And we're all the same. We are literally all the same. There are women who have millions of followers on Instagram that still struggle with insecurities, who still struggle with like financial like worry, or you know, relationship, being dumped, having their heart broken, and they're like, how you? We are all the same, and we share in this human experience. We're so much better when we do it together.
I think what you just said there about all the same, I think that's the hard part, because you're correct. When people become successful, everybody looks at them with these rose-colored glasses.
Yeah.
Yet they're still the same person they were when they were 12. They're still in the same place in their family dynamic. But all of a sudden, they have these responsibilities. It becomes like extremely isolating. I know I can speak for myself.
Yeah.
That it, you know, the kind of more you have to do, the more expectations people have of you. But I think rising together, growing together, supporting each other no matter where you are, it's like realizing that like you with all your Instagram followers and all the things that you're doing, like you're just a human being, feeling 100%. All the same feelings.
And I love that, because I know what it is to feel it. I know what it is to feel having all these Instagram followers and still be like, but I'm still a human. And I know what it's like to live in this. And I remember a year ago when I didn't have so many Instagram followers, and I was still a human. I'm still that same person through when I existed in a fat body. I was the same person as when I existed in a thin body. I'm still human.
Yeah.
So I want to know what it means to be a rising woman.
I think to be a rising woman is somebody who's willing to go through life and to rise, and be willing to stop. And like we talked about earlier, like holding that door open, being willing to allow others to rise as well, to celebrate in those peaks of life, and to be somebody who is willing to get uncomfortable, get messy, be a peacemaker, do those things knowing that rise comes out of it, right?
Brian, behind the camera, is going to do some rapid fire questions.
What's your hidden talent?
I can turn my eyelids inside out, but I can't demonstrate it.
You can?
Yeah, I'm one of those like flippers.
What Instagram account or podcast should everyone be following or listening to right now?
Mine? Actually, my favorite podcast is Jonathan Van Ness, and I'm also going to second him for his Insta account. There's something about that man and the fact that he owns his body and owns like wanting to do. Oh my gosh. He like decided he wanted to be an ice skater and like went after it.
In one word, describe your relationship with your phone.
Tethered.
What's your go-to karaoke song?
Well, I actually hate karaoke. I have like the worst stage fright. So I was like musically trained for almost 10 years. I'm gonna say something from Greatest Showman. I'm gonna say Never Enough.
What 3 things can you not live without?
Dry shampoo, my phone. Well, I feel like I went really surface with the dry shampoo, so now I'm like, what is my third? I'm gonna say mascara. We're just gonna say it.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Honestly.
So nice to sit in a bed and drink wine with you.
I know, who knew? Great times.
Okay.
Thank you. I know, I have to be like some shots, Steve.
Just scouting locations. What do you think?
Well, when people say, shots, 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 it's really hard to be like, no. You're like, I'm like, yes!
I'm just gonna turn the water on.
Room with a view.
Oh, I am telling you, I like love shots.
The reaction of the bod.
Same.
Yeah, see, I like keep buying shoes at Forever 21.
Do they hurt?
They're like not meant for me, they're meant for fashion.